Hi, welcome back to part 3 of how to customize a hat. Like I said earlier in the other 2 episodes, we're going to customize this hat with a breast cancer awareness theme. One of the things that I wanted to go over with before we go right into the production is why we're setting it up the way we are. Anytime that you're doing printing over a hat and it has things like seams in it, you want to make sure that you have some kind of a backing, because when you press onto that hat, it can cause these seams to come through the actual design. So one of the reasons why we are backing this particular design with a charcoal gray is because we don't want it to actually ruin the design of what we're going to put on top with the actual glitter flake pink that we're going to use for this particular hat. Also, I wanted to show you the different setups that we have for our back cut pattern and also our design that's going to be cut out itself. Like I said in previous videos, I don't show you the actual software for the Cut Studio because you may be operating with a different machine. However, I do like to show you exactly what's going on. And so I wanted to show you exactly the cut pattern for the backing and also for the text. Outside of that, let's get started. As you can see, we're using the GX24 from Roland. We load our material from the back of the machine. It has a white film, that's just so that it will show up on a dark background and not be transparent. We also had to increase the pressure on this particular material because it's a little thicker. Once we get done cutting out the material, we move into weaving the excess away from our particular design, and we do it from the top of the corner and we peel at an angle to make sure that we don't pull up any lettering. Now that we're at the hat machine, we have to be careful that we set our hat up on the press properly. And it has a lever that's underneath that makes the hat tight, but we're going to do some adjustment checks to make sure that it's going to press the entire area of where we're going to actually put the lettering and graphic on. We are using a margin of about 2.5 inches and about 4 inches wide. That's about the max that you really want to try to go when you're using this type of hat. That way you don't print off the hat or you have something that's hanging off to the side. I put the gray on first, and this is going to help not only for the tack, for the glitter, but it's going to help because of the seams. And you'll be able to see when I lift up, there will be a slight ripple where the gray is, but once we press the other color over top of it, it'll disappear altogether. And that's pretty much it. Welcome back. As you can see, we've completed our hat and I think it looks pretty good. We've got a nice solid design, and as you can see, we've created something that embroidery couldn't. That glitter flake that you see in there, it's only going to come through some type of printing method, and so far the way we did it is the best way that I know how to do it. So let's talk business. I have here a couple different types of hats. Some of them I carry in stock for customers, and others, they're just something to practice around and play on. In order to understand what you have to charge, we're going to go through and just kind of explain the different types of hats. This is kind of a summer hat. It's netted, and it's also one of our cheaper hats. This hat right here is only going to run you $182. This right here is also considered a summer hat, but it's a little bit more sturdy. The bill on this one is also flat, and this one right here will run you $195. Now these are wholesale pricing. Now I have a visor in here, and the reason why I have a visor is because we do a lot of visors as well. Visors are a little bit more expensive than some of our cheaper hats. They come in at about $2.14. And the reason why visors sometimes cost a little bit more is because they are seasonal, and so the price on those are going to be a little higher. Now, for the hat that I actually like the most, and of course the one that I rock the most, the classic snapback. Now this snapback is a little different because we print on our snapbacks. I have a snapback here that actually the seam stops right at the top of the hat, and it leaves all this area right here for printing. And this is good because, like I had told you earlier in the video, for printing a cross stitching, if you have to do that, then there are certain things you have to be careful about with the stitching leaving an imprint. And by having this blank front right here on the snapback, we're able to get around that. Now this one right here though is a little bit more expensive. This hat is going to come in around $4.05. In some places it'll be about $5. Okay, so we know what our hats are going to cost us. Material wise, we really didn't use a whole lot of material. Truthfully, we probably only have about, at the max, and this is really just guesstimating, we probably got about 75 cents to 50 cents in material. And that might be slightly higher just because the glitter flake costs a little bit more than the solid colors, but you're not going to exceed $1 typically in material when you're printing that small for a hat. And so it gives you leeway on your supplies as far as printing, but you also have to keep in mind, if you print on an expensive hat, the hat we have behind us that we actually printed on, that was about $3.53. So you can round up and say the hat was about $4. And anything, you gotta understand, these are wholesale prices, not retail. So if something costs you $4, typically you're gonna charge $8. And then you're gonna have to put your printing price on top of that. So you wanna make a good amount of money, or at least a good profit margin on your particular hat, but you wanna stay competitive. On the norm, embroidered hats are gonna go anywhere from $24 to $45 and up, depending on what gets embroidered on them and the style of hat that it is. Now, in this particular case, printing, you can be anywhere between $15 and $20 on your price when it comes to a printed hat. And the main reason for that is that the cost that it costs us to actually produce it is slightly lower, and that gives you the chance to have some wiggle room. You can actually sell more hats to a customer printing than you could if you had to actually embroider it. So hopefully you found what we did here today educational, and I'd like to see you again. Tune in, make sure to subscribe. Please subscribe so that we can blow up this channel. Have a good day.